Hi everyone, this is HM&S video number 46 and you are most welcome for it. Today we're going to see a battle of Excel functions. This battle is going to be between Vlookup versus index and match function. Now we have already done a video showing how to use Vlookup function in Excel. We have also done a video showing how to use match function in Excel, but we haven't seen how to use index function yet. So let's switch on to Excel and we dive deeper into the main point of this video. Now the Vlookup function and then the index and match function combined, they all give us the same results. We have already done a video showing how to use the match function. I'm going to leave that video at the end of this video. But let's remind ourselves about how to use the match function. So I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to match. When I see it highlighted in blue, I'm going to hit tab to select it. It needs the lookup value, the lookup array, and then the match type. For the lookup value, I'm going to click on department. We're going to look up the department, comma. The lookup array, I'm simply going to highlight all the field names because we want to look up the position of the department from these field names. I'm going to lock it using the F4 key since I'm going to copy my formula to the side, comma. Then for the match type, we're doing an exact match. So down arrow, tab to select exact match. I'm going to close my bracket. Now the match function actually gives us the relative position of the lookup value. Like for example, we are looking up department from this range that we have highlighted. The match function is going to give us the relative position where department is found. So when I hit Control Enter, copy it to the side, you can see that it's telling us department is found on the 5th position and then salary is found on the 6th position. And you can even confirm that from here. Now let's start by doing the Vlookup function. So I'm going to click on this cell. Now on this example here, I want to look up the name which is selected from here. And then I come to this table here, find the department where that name is found, and then I bring the department here. Then the same for the salary. We're going to compare the Vlookup function and index and match function to do the same thing. So let's start by Vlookup. I'm going to do equals to Vlookup, tab to select it. It has 4 arguments, the lookup value, the table array, the column index number, and then the range lookup. So for the lookup value, we want to look up whatever name is selected from here. So I'm going to click on this name. Now since I'm going to copy my formula to the side, I'm going to lock it using the F4 key and then comma. The table array, I'm going to highlight my entire table. I'm going to highlight this table here, but I'm excluding the field names or the column headers. Again, I'm going to lock this one using the F4 key since I'm going to copy my formula to the side and then comma. The column index number, I'm simply going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the department is on the 5th column and then salary is on the 6th column. But I want to construct only one formula, then I copy it to the side. So I cannot just add code the 5 in there. I'm going to use the match function to get the dynamic relative position. So I'm going to do match, tab to select it. The lookup value is going to be our department and then comma. The lookup array, I'm going to highlight the field names here. Now I'm going to lock it using the F4 key and then comma. For this particular case, we're doing an exact match. So I'm going to down arrow to select exact match, tab to select it, and then I'm going to close my bracket. Now this bracket, I've closed it on the match function. The entire match function here is going to deliver for us the relative position. Actually, if I highlight just the match function like this and evaluate it using the F9 key, you can see the match function is actually delivering for us the relative position of 5. I'm going to Control Z to undo that. Now I'm going to come to the end, click, and then comma to go to the last argument of the Vlookup, that is the range lookup. Again, we are doing an exact match, so I'm going to down arrow to select false or exact match, tab to select it. I'm going to close my bracket. Now when I Control Enter, and then I copy my formula to the side, you can see that Okonkwo is from the statistics department and his salary is $169. Now that one is using Vlookup function. Let's also see how we can use index and match function to do the same thing. I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to index, tab to select it. Now the index function is one of the few functions in Excel that uses 2 forms. You can see here we have the first form here called the array form. Then the second one here is called the reference form. Now the array form has this syntax here and it has 3 arguments, the array, the row number, and then the column number. Then for the reference form, it has this syntax here and the syntax has 4 arguments, the reference, the row number, the column number, and then the area number. Now on this video, we are not going to see how we can use this second form here or the reference form. We shall see how to use that in future video. That one you use it when you are getting your values from different tables. But for this video, we are going to be using the array form, the first one here. So our first argument here is the array. I'm simply going to highlight just what we want. That is the department. So I'm going to highlight just this column here, minus highlighting the column header. Now that one is our array. We need to tell the index function what we want is found on which row exactly. So I'm going to go to the next argument, which is the row number. So I'm going to do comma. Now for the row number, I'm also going to use the match function. So match, tab to select it. Now for the lookup value, we're going to look up this name here. I'm going to lock it using the F4 key, comma. The lookup array, I'm going to highlight just the names like this. And I'm also going to lock it using the F4 key. And then comma. For the match type, we want the exact match. So down arrow, tap to select exact match. I'm going to close my bracket. Now the last argument here is the column number. Since we have only one vertical array here, we do not need the column number. We simply need the row number. So I'm going to close my bracket on the index function. When I control enter, and then I copy my formula to the side, you can see that it's actually working very well. So let's test them. I'm going to come here, change this one to Shaka, then come here, change this one to Shaka. You can see Shaka is here from the finance department and the salary is $251. One more time, let's go for Kenyatta, come here, Kenyatta is here from the sales department, as you can see from here, and then the salary is $256. So it's actually working very well. So this is our next example. We have the respondent ID. We want to use this respondent ID to look up the respondent from this lookup table. Then we bring the respondent name on this column here, basing on these IDs. Let's start by doing it using Vlookup. I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to Vlookup, tap to select it. The lookup value is going to be our respondent ID, comma. The table array, I'm going to highlight just my lookup table like this, minus highlighting the field names. I'm going to lock it using the F4 key, and then comma. For the column index number, the respondent names is on the second column of our lookup table. So I'm going to put there 2, and then comma. For the range lookup, we are doing exact match. So down arrow to select false or exact match, tap to select it, close my bracket. When I control enter, and then I copy my formula down, you can see that it's actually working very well. Now let's also do it using index and match function. I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to index. Tap to select it. We are using the first form here, the array form. So for our array, that one is always what we want to bring on this particular column here. So I'm going to highlight the respondent's name like this. I'm going to lock it using the F4 key, and then comma, the row number. So for the row number, I'm going to use the match function. So match, tap to select it. The lookup value is going to be our respondent ID. So I'm going to click on this, and then comma. The lookup array is simply going to be just the IDs. So I'm going to highlight just the IDs like this. I'm going to hit the F4 key to lock it, and then comma. We're also doing the exact match here. Down arrow to select 0 or exact match. Tap to select it. Close my bracket on the match function. So the match function is actually delivering for us the row numbers. So I'm going to close my bracket on index. When I control enter, and then I copy my formula down, you can see both methods are giving us the same results. Now on our next example here, we have a dataset that's set horizontally. We want to see whether index and match also works when you set your dataset horizontally like this. But before we do index and match, let's first do HLOOKUP. Now this one we're using HLOOKUP because our dataset is set horizontally. So I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to HLOOKUP, tap to select it. The lookup value is going to be our respondent ID. I'm going to click on this, and then comma. The table array, I'm going to highlight my lookup table like this. I'm going to lock it using the F4 key, comma. The row index number, I'm simply going to count 1, 2. The respondent's name is on the second row, so I'm going to put there 2, and then comma. For the range lookup, we are doing exact match. So down arrow to select false or exact match, tap to select it, close my bracket. When I control enter, and then I copy my formula to the side like this, you can see it's actually working very well. Now let's also see index and match. I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to index. tap to select it. Now for the array, that's what we want to bring to this row here. So I'm going to simply highlight just the respondent's name from our lookup table like this. I'm going to lock it using the F4 key and then comma. Then for the row number, now you might realize something. This time around our lookup table is set horizontally. That means we need to use the column number instead of the row number. That's because when you see from here, Peter is found on the third column, Elizabeth is found on the second column, and Solomon is found on the first column. So we need to use the column number for this particular case here. But also, since our array is set horizontally, even if you put your column number on the row number argument, the index function will actually understand it very well. But for this particular case here, let's leave the row number blank and we're going to do comma to go to the column number. That's where we're going to use our match function to give us the right column number. So I'm going to use match, tap to select it. The lookup value is going to be the respondent ID, comma. The lookup array, I'm simply going to highlight just the ID, and then F4 to lock it, comma. We are doing exact match, down arrow, tap to select exact match or 0, close my bracket on match, then I'm going to close my bracket on index. When I control enter, and then I copy it to the side like this, you can see it's actually working very well. Now just to prove to you that even if you put your column number on the row number argument, the index function understands it very well. Let's do one more example here. I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to index, tap to select it. The array is going to be our respondent name here, F4 to lock it, comma. Then for the column index number, now this one needs the column index number, but I'm going to put it on the row number argument. So I'm going to do match, tap to select it. The lookup value is going to be our respondent ID, comma. The lookup array, I'm simply going to highlight this, F4 to lock it, then comma, down arrow for exact match, tap to select it, close my bracket on the match, close my bracket on the index, control enter, and then I'm going to copy my formula to the side like this. And you can see it's actually working very well. Now on our last example here, we want to see how we can also do approximate match using index and match function. But before we do that, let's start by doing Vlookup. So I'm going to click on this cell. We want to pick up this commission basing on this revenue, and then we put it here. So I'm going to start by doing equals to Vlookup, tap to select it. Our lookup value is going to be these revenues, comma. The table array, I'm simply going to highlight my table like this without highlighting the field names. F4 to lock it, comma. What we want to bring here is the commission, and the commission is on the second column. So I'm going to put there 2, and then comma. This time around we're doing approximate match lookup. Since approximate match lookup is done by default, you can leave it out or you can select it using tab. Then I'm going to close my bracket. When I control enter, and then I copy my formula down, you can see it's actually working very well. Now let's also see how we can do it using index and match function. So I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to index, tab to select it. Now for the array, that's what we want to bring here, and that's our commission. So I'm going to simply highlight our commission like this, F4 to lock it, comma. Now for the row index number, I'm going to use the match function, tab to select it. For the lookup value, I'm simply going to look up this revenue, and then comma. The lookup array is going to be our revenue from the lookup table, this revenue here. So I'm going to highlight it like this, F4 to lock it, comma. Now this time around for the match function, we need to tell the match function that what we are doing is actual approximate match lookup, not exact match lookup. So we're going to select less than or 1. That one is actual approximate match lookup when you're using match function. So I'm going to hit tab to select less than, and it will put for me 1 there. And then I'm going to close my bracket on the match function, and then close my bracket on the index function. So when I control enter, and then I copy my formula down, so you can choose to use a combination of index and match function, or you can use Vlookup function. Yeah, that is it for this video. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And if you found this video interesting, give it a like, and then you share it with your friends. This is a video where we talk deeply about how to use the match function in Excel. You can click on it, then you go and watch it. Until next video, HM&S video number 47, then we meet again. Thank you.